Fluid art. Liquid acrylic painting is one of the most popular trends in contemporary art. Artists who choose this method use extremely unusual techniques to paint on canvas. The result is always unpredictable but very beautiful. Most importantly, given the properties of liquid acrylic paint, it is impossible to create two identical paintings. By the way, it's incredibly satisfying to see the making process of these paintings. The technique is known as fluid art. The artists use acrylic diluted in liquid soap, varnish, or glue. Sometimes they choose other liquids to achieve an even more interesting result. Surprisingly, instead of a brush, they use a plastic cup. The paints are poured into the cup in layers that don't mix, thanks to the properties of acrylic. This is how these unusual paintings are created. By the way, artists don't recommend using more than 3 or 4 colors. Otherwise, the image can end up looking too messy. However, this amazing professional is so experienced that he uses 5 colors. He pours the paints into the cup, starting with the dark colors and ending with the lighter shades. The paint is then poured onto the canvas and distributed evenly in all directions. It should be noted that the fluid art technique you see in this video is relatively simple. Even a beginner can do something like this. Wood carving. You can create a beautiful sculpture with many details using a variety of materials. Wood is one of the most common ones, and there are a lot of reasons for it. First of all, we'd like to highlight the original aesthetic qualities of this material. Wood sculptures are always warm and pleasant to the touch. And of course, it's a natural material with a unique pattern, which is very difficult to imitate. By the way, wood carving is a rather old craft that, oddly enough, has not become obsolete in the modern world. The only thing that's changed is the tools. Previously, manual instruments were used such as chisels and knives. Today, to speed up the work, workers prefer power saws and jigsaws. During the initial stage, the craftsman uses a common electric saw. With it, he gives shape to the future sculpture and cuts off the large pieces that won't be used. However, for finer works, the master prefers smaller and sometimes even hand tools. The workshop you're seeing is located in Vietnam, and the sculpture is made of Fujian cypress wood. Formation. Around 180 AD, a Chinese inventor named Ding Huan created the world's first zoetrope. Much later, in 1833, British mathematician William George Horner invented a more advanced zoetrope. What you see on the screen is the evolution of this invention, made possible by the human resourcefulness and creativity. In 2019, this is what a zoetrope looks like. But let's take a closer look at this modern creation. A zoetrope is a device designed to show moving images. It looks spectacular and can easily be used as a decorative element. The invention is based on a phenomenon called the persistence of vision. It's one of the characteristics of our visual perception. Simply put, it's the ability of the eye to combine rapidly changing images into one. Formation differs from traditional zoetropes in its design. The rotating disc is completely open. However, the most remarkable thing about the device is that the image is three-dimensional. The inventors of Formation devoted a lot of time to the creation of this zoetrope, and today anyone can buy this device. By the way, it's controlled using a mobile application. Ghost Cube. Surprisingly, even building blocks can be turned into real works of art. However, to do so, they must look unusual, like the Ghost Cube system you see on the screen. This unusual invention is the brainchild of Swedish designer Erik Arberg. In his works, he experiments with the motion of things that, at first glance, seem incapable of moving. These wooden cubes are connected in a special way, so that all the elements can be moved in any direction. At the same time, the structure retains its integrity. It just changes its shape. Ghost Cube is inspired by origami. A sculpture made of dozens of cubes easily becomes a completely different sculpture. Initially, Erik started working on a system consisting of a couple of cubes. Over time, he discovered that by adding new elements, he could create countless variations. The only limit is your imagination. Hydrographics. Here is another relatively simple, unusual painting technique. It allows to apply different patterns on any material, imitating wood, stone, metal, or even animal skin. Interestingly, hydrographics can transform any rigid surface or material, even if it has a complex shape. You can work on plastic, metal, wood, ceramics, and even glass. However, this is not the most interesting thing. You are probably wondering how the paint is applied to the surface. It's done in special tanks filled with water. The next step may vary slightly. One option is to apply paints over the water. They're carefully placed on the surface. When the object is then immersed in the water, the paint adheres to the material. In this way, beautiful abstract patterns are created, imitating a marble surface, for example. In this case, professionals need to obtain a specific image, so a hydrographic film is used. The worker moistens the film with a special device to soften it and make it more flexible. After this, when the product is immersed in the tank, the pattern is transferred to its surface. The master works carefully and with precision to achieve the best results. Rubik's Cube Mosaic Portraits. The last artist we want to show you today proves that you can create beautiful and unusual things using literally any object. The Italian artist Giovanni Contardi decided to create portraits of celebrities using Rubik's Cubes. This toy is an integral part of the artist's life. He solved his first Rubik's Cube at the age of 7, and as a teenager, he won the European Rubik's Cube Championship, solving a Rubik's Cube one-handed in only 9.43 seconds. As you can see, it's not surprising that he chose this object for his works. Choosing the right colors for him is a simple routine. For Giovanni, creating these portraits is as easy and natural as walking or breathing. First, the guy prints the drawing on a sheet of paper and then places hundreds of cubes in a certain order. Each side of a Rubik's Cube is like a pixel that makes up the image. For each work, he needs between 400 and 700 cubes. The whole process, from the creation of the concept to the completion of the portrait, usually takes 3 to 4 weeks. Hey, stop being lazy, it's time to use that brain of yours. Welcome to Brain Time. Incredible facts from the past, the present, and even the future. The power of nature and wild animals, amazing facts and unsolved mysteries. You'll find all this and much more here. Subscribe now, you won't regret it.